beautiful people. Why am I so white? Hello my beautiful people, and welcome to my channel and welcome to my new apartment as well. I am recording this video from this new apartment, new place. It is so gorgeous, and I am so excited to invite you to spend today's video with me here. I live in downtown LA now with this amazing view on the top floor where the energy is just moving so fast. So I'm gonna insert a little vlog of my move, and then we're gonna jump right into the conversation about why I moved. And for those of you who are going through separation or who are going through a divorce, this is definitely a video for you. So let's hop in. Hello my beautiful people, and guess where I am? In a new apartment, a new chapter of myself. I guess it's a hello from a new place. So one of the reasons I moved to a new place, which is so interesting, I literally last year when I was doing my vision board have put a picture of an apartment with, you know, panoramic views, with a kind of downtown, like panoramic fast moving views, which we had no idea that we're gonna move anywhere like that at that time. I don't know why I wanted it so bad. And then a year after, I am divorced. I'm getting divorced. I'm separated. And I moved out, and I moved to an apartment that looks identical to that. How insane the energy is, how insane the life is. You know, you never expect something like that to happen. You never know how your wishes are going to come true unless you learn to set them correctly, which I guess somewhere in my mind, my subconscious mind knew this is going to happen. So I have put that picture to my vision board. So recently I have met so many women in my field who are getting or going through a divorce. I went to my leasing office in the previous building, and the lady just started crying to me and talking to me about her process of separation. A bunch of people around me, a bunch of women that I talk to, are saying that they're going through a separation right now and a divorce, and how hard it is on them. Like, it is a hard thing to go through, let's be honest. But that's one of the reasons I decided to record this video. Well, first of all, because it's very iconic that the first video from a new apartment where I moved because of the separation, because of the divorce, is about that topic. And I wanted to lay down some of the fundamentals, some of the foundations as to why it happens, how it happens, the pains, the turbulation that people have to go through when they're going through this process. Why did I say why it happens? Anyway, I'll say it again. Why it happens and how to deal with that correctly, and what exactly is going on underneath all this mess, because that can be messy. It doesn't have to, but it can be. Okay, by the way, what I wanted to start with, I wrote down this little note this morning of the things that I wanted to share with you in this video. And the first one that I am going to loosely base it on my story, but also explain some of the things of why it happens. Let's start with the fact that one of the biggest lies of humanity is the monogamy. Okay, and that is just from the biological standpoint. And recently I'm studying sexology right now, or sex therapy, if you please. And in the biology part of that, we were discussing the monogamous, polygamous, polyamorous relationship. And one of the biggest misconceptions or lies in our world, in our society, is that people are monogamous, because they are not. Like, as a species, we can be monogamous, but this is not biologically encoded in our physicality, because if you look at monogamous couples, monogamous animals, both species, male and female, would be identical in size. Like take swans, for example, one of the biggest romanticized, animal species, because they die when one of them dies. The other one dies, right? Once one dies, the other one will die too. And so do some other, birds as well. But they're identical in their size. They're identical in their color. They look the same. Then you look at the species where you have many partners for one male, right? So one male, many partners, like gorillas, for example. There you can find a very big difference in the size, because a man has to protect the herd, or however the family, and then he has to take care not only of all the women, but also of the male, the younger male, the babies, the grandpas, the grandmas, baby grandmas, gorilla grandmas, gorilla grandpas. Okay, I am really sorry that I left you, because I don't know where we finished. So anyway, what I was talking about is that the species, if you look at the species, the animals, when the biggest misconception of society, as I mentioned, is monogamy, that it is in our nature, which it is not. So look at the animals, animalistically, biologically, it is not, right? Everybody can get there, and this is okay to get there, and we're gonna discuss why, the reasons of why people stay monogamous. The gorillas, right? The gorillas live in the one male and many, many female. So when you look at the harem type of family, polyamorous, would it be polyamorous or polygamous? So one or the other, I'm going to insert it right there, is where there is more than 25% difference in terms of physicality between a male and female species. So if you look at gorilla male, he's so much bigger than gorilla females, right? And he is taking care of the entire family, of all the women, of all the old gorillas, young gorillas, baby gorillas, either male gorillas, and he has to be more aggressive, which is interesting, but I'm going to mention it later on, because these species, they don't have a very big sexual organs, because they don't need it, right? It's just one male. Testosterone dominance is what matters the most. That is their sexual dominance. That is their natural sexual selection, is how powerful you are physically, right? Because, okay, you won the whole tribe with your fangs, and now you have all these women that you have to go and impregnate. And then the next one is the animals that we are the closest to, which are kind of like baboon families, where everybody love everybody, right? You live in this commune and you change partners, and that is the only species that have different types of sexual relationship. They have the sex gratitude, they have sex for care, they have sex for pleasure. Somebody brought a banana to the pride, everybody goes and pleases him. So that is when male and female look like less than 10, around 10% difference between the species, right? So that's when in the animal world, the species means that it's polyamorous, right? When you can change your partners throughout your evolution, throughout your life. And that is the type of species that we are as humans. But unfortunately, so many of us face these interjects, and believe me, I had them as well, where you have to get married once and for all. If you go through a separation or divorce, you're a failure. How many of you, let me know down in the comments below, have faced these interjects, especially if you're more from a European or more traditional point of view, whatever. I've been recently watching Gossip Girl, and I like that dynamic over there. There's this one very rich guy, and both of his ex-wife and current wife are both, in the family system. They're both present, and he has a good relationship with both of them. He has a son from one of them. Anyway, this TV series is boring, but it's interesting to see that dynamic and how normalizing it is becoming. So I mentioned what happens in terms of polyamorous and monogamous relationships. So for a human being, it is okay to change partners. That is in our biology. That is the way we are built, because I will go into why people stay together for a long time and what exactly happens there, the pluses and minuses. So if you actually take a look at any couple that have been together for a long time, it's less of a sexual or romantic commitment, but more of a commitment because it's comfortable. Talk to couples who have been together for, 30, 40, 50 years. Very few of them, it happens, but very, very few of them keep that sexual drive, keep that romantic drive, okay, within the family. And it is only possible when both of the identities, both of the people inside the family are evolving naturally at the same level, at the same speed. Then you can keep going, and then you can actually achieve the relationship that stays long, that is comfortable, that is going to have its ups and downs, but it's mainly comfortable. It's mainly because, you become a family that you're used to. You don't think about, like putting your feet, why am I saying so much? Rubbing his or her feet, or, the way you travel together, the way some of your family rituals are set, all those things, or even loans, right? Or even mortgages or cars and kids. And it just gets more comfortable to stay together than to leave, because that is very complicated. Believe me, even after 5 years, it's still complicated to leave because you have so many things that you've built together. The other day I was unpacking the new apartment and I saw the Christmas ornaments, that we had this ritual in the family to have Christmas ornaments in the house from each trip. Like wherever we would go, we would bring a Christmas ornament. And I got sad for a little bit watching them. I was like, oh no, it's not gonna stay with me. But then I realized that I can keep this tradition. And I can not devalue the past, but actually appreciate it the most. But this is the next section. I want to finish with why people stay together is mainly because of the comfort level, because of kids, mortgages, loans, etc., etc. It's just too complicated to leave. And that complicated, it scares a lot of people. And one of the main driving forces for a family, for a marriage, for a couple to stay together is the equal speed of evolution. If one is slowing down, the other one is way too fast, the couple is meant to break up or separate, and that is okay. We have to start learning that it is okay. It does not mean that you have failed in any way. Sometimes yes, but you will notice and I know these people, and believe me, I do not ever recommend separation. Whenever there is something to save, whenever there is something to heal, separation or divorce, I do not recommend it. I would fight till the end, until, let's say, the horse is dead, for a relationship to stay tuned. Because the depth of relationship is also very important. People who jump from one to another, they don't experience that depth. People who go through these 3 years of relationship, from one to another, from one to another, from one to another, whenever they face the next hardship, whenever they face the next depth line, whenever you have to dive deeper, they go up and they breathe. But then the same thing happens over and over again. It doesn't change. And that is what you should be aware of if you're going through a separation or divorce. You have to really be honest with yourself. Am I craving this? Is it happening because we're not able to go to a new depth? Or is it because that diversification, that level is just way too different right now? And it doesn't mean it's going to stay like that forever. For some people and for some couples, actually my new therapist that I'm working with, she told me her story, and they've been married for like 20 years or something, that they divorced twice. So they divorced and separated, but then they got back together. And now they're like facing another crisis. And that is also normal in the family therapy, in the family system. Sometimes one person needs that space to figure themselves out. Because when we get into a relationship, too often it happens that there is a confluence where we start losing ourselves and we become a part of that relationship and we forget who we were. Unless you constantly and continuously work on yourself and you know what you want, who you are, what you're trying to achieve in life, then this separation, this divorce or anything like that is crucial for a family to be together again. Okay? Same as with lovers, like a third wheel in the family system is always a third leg on the chair, because chair is not stable enough with just two pieces. A third piece comes over to ironically save the family. So lovers, we love them a lot, both male and female. Whenever that happens, just know that something is not working within the couple, so it needs a third party brought into it to save the marriage, to save the family. So yeah, that is why people stay together. And that depth is an amazing factor. That is why, for example, with my husband, with my ex-husband, I am continuously working still right now on saving the relationship itself, because the depth of it is something that is very important for me. And something that I realized last year when I was going through, and you know what? I got you, girl or boy, whoever is watching or listening to this. It is hard. You have to go through the mourning process, because the part of your reality, the part of your identity, right? The core identity, I am a wife, the core identity, I'm a mother, or no, I'm a wife, I'm a partner. It dies with a separation, it dies with a divorce, and you have to go back into the foundation of your building called your identity and build a new monument over there. And that shows a lot if your foundation was strong enough. If apart from I am a wife, you didn't have I'm a career woman, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a celebrity, I'm an influencer, I'm a psychologist, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, I'm this, that. If you didn't have a strong foundation at the core, the divorce or separation is going to be even harder, because nothing is stabilizing you, right? It's like the building is shaking, like the whole thing is shaking. And that is what many women face, specifically the ones who dedicated their whole life only on the family and did not build the rest of the foundation. They're forced to face this specific thing. They're forced to face that there is nothing else in that foundation except for I'm a wife. And if that's taken away, who are you at the end? So for me, it was still, even though I had a lot of other things built into my reality, my life, when I was going through a divorce, happening pretty fast, to be honest, because I live fast, baby. It was very hard, because that core identity, I'm a wife, was taken away from me. But thankfully, I had enough of stabilizing factors built in my reality, in my life, to keep me afloat, to know who I am, what I want, to still go towards my goals, my wishes, my aspirations, my dreams, and still be excited for life. But regardless of that fact, I always knew deep inside that I want to keep the relationship in a different form. That depth, I have a high value for that, or I'm starting to learn what it means to uphold long-term relationship. Because when you're in therapy, there is a saying, you have to face multiple times, you have to face the resistance. And resistance happens everywhere. For example, you go to a therapist, and when you have to do your hours as a client with another supervisor, you have to do it with one therapist. You cannot jump from one to another. You can't be like, ha ha ha, hope, hey, la la la, I am here, I am there. You have to stay with one therapist for over 90 hours, right? Which would be like about a year and a half of like weekly therapy. And one of the reasons for that is because only through working through these resistances would you be able to achieve the new depth. Would you be able to dive deeper into that relationship, meaning deeper into your personality, because all relationships that we have are mirrors of who we are. Well, my beautiful people, I am back, and it's 1 a.m. and I am leaving. My camera died, but I am back to finish this video for you, because once again, I got a confirmation of how many women are going through divorce. So we've covered the monogamy. As a species, biologically, we are not monogamous. We're not built this way, right? We differ physically with male. We've covered why people stay together, right? Because it is that sense of stability again, like why people form couples. And I'm a big protagonist. Like, I was listening to this one person talking about the Avatar movie, and Avatar, new Avatar, is the one of the only recent movies without propaganda of any other relationship. It's very traditional. One of our instincts is the continuation of our is a continuation of our family, which can only, no matter how you twist, turn, or anything, can only happen between man and woman. Man and a woman together become God. So we're naturally drawn to have that another person in this life, right? This sense of stability, the sense of continuing your DNA coding, all that gets you, like, we are very social creatures. We need a partner. That is a fact. If you don't need a partner, that's a problem. Like, come see me for a private therapy, which I rarely do nowadays. The formed couples, they don't have to stay forever together. And when I was talking about my divorce with my therapist, still battling the sense of like, what do I have to do in this situation, he said this one interesting phrase which was so helpful for me that I want to share it with you. Actually, two things that he mentioned. One of them was that the concept of a marriage forever, of being with some other person forever, is paradoxical because nobody dies at the same day, right? Time will separate you. No matter what, time will separate you. And it's just your choice whether you want to take responsibility of that time or you want to just let it ride out, okay? You are going to be separated anyway. Somebody will die first. So the separation will happen. And if you know that right now, in your process, in your experience, you need to grow and you need something more, then there should not be any guilt behind it, or things end, and that's just a process of that. But the other thing that he mentioned was another thing I was battling with a lot, is that sense of loneliness, being by myself, because I was, with a partner with my ex-husband for over 5 years, and that constant idea of closure with someone else, of course you're going to be lacking that. But it is a great moment if you're going through a separation, if you're going through a divorce right now. Remember this quote: when you stay by yourself, you don't meet loneliness, you meet wholesomeness. Because we can't fulfill everything, or we are in the process. Every single human being is in the process of getting to that point where he or she can fulfill the entire spectrum of your needs, right? Figure out how to do it.